in Wisconsin. Having them all under one company has been very helpful.
Big or small, one location or several, James Imaging Systems is your one-stop business technology resource.
And they are on top of everything. When we have a problem, it's answered right away.
James Imaging Systems, IT-driven workflow automation, security enhancements, digital transformation, and unrivaled local service and support.
And they're always looking for what else can we do? What else do you need? So they want our company to succeed as well as their own.
Let James Imaging Systems help your business succeed. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
It's a great day for Brewers baseball, and with Brewers checking from Associated Bank, you get a powerful lineup of perks all season. Leading off is express entry with incredible speed. Next up, 20% off gear at the Brewers team store. Sporty stuff. And third, up to 50% off home game tickets. But if you can believe it, there's even more you can score. Because with Brewers checking, you get the strongest lineup in baseball. Only from Associated Bank. Join the crew at AssociatedBank.com/Brewers. Member FDIC.
Michelob Ultra is brewed here. So is the grit that takes U.S. soccer players to the world's biggest stage. The excitement that fills a stadium before a single ball is kicked. The feeling when we rally together behind one team. From the pitch to the pour, Superior is brewed here. Michelob Ultra, proud sponsor of the U.S. men's national soccer team. Enjoy responsibly. 2026 Anheuser-Busch, Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
When you work smart, incredible things can happen. By joining Smart 18, the union for Wisconsin sheet metal workers, you'll open the door to a brighter future. You'll learn and earn more. Enjoy awesome benefits across the board. Build a great career and feel empowered and supported every step of the way. The smartest career decision you'll ever make starts with Smart 18. Find out more today at smart18info.com.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNWisconsinContests.com. That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com.
You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI and WKTI-HD Milwaukee, a Good Karma Brands radio station. Showtime. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Shamara. Here's Jen Latta.
Well, they stopped the bleeding. The Brewers, that is. Badly needing a win last night as they took on the Blue Jays. A storm brewing outside. Brewing. I didn't even mean to do that. And Chad Patrick did a hell of a job. It was a very nice outing by the young man on the mound last night. But it was a tight game late, and they needed some late inning magic. And wouldn't you know it, the rain contributed to the win.
Hell yeah.
Gabe, can you explain to me how the rain contributed? Because I was watching on the broadcast, and I see Blake Perkins out in the outfield, and I see the rain coming down behind him, and I'm thinking, oh, man, did they forget to close the roof? Did they not know the storms were coming? Nope, roof was closed. Just got a bit of a leaking issue in the outfield. I did not know that the leaking issue extended to near home plate, Gabe Neitzel.
Yeah, why not? Why would I describe it when the guy who reached first base because of it can just do that? Let's hear from Sal Frelick after getting an infield single that helped a rally start for the Brewers last night.
On your ball that looked like a balance.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's like the leaks in the roof, like around home plate, so those last 3 innings, it was coming down so hard, like in certain parts of the field, and I think like the ground right in front of home plate just got so wet that I have a chance to see it, but I'm guessing the ball just like died in the dirt. So it was just so, I remember even getting in the box, it was so like wet and soggy.
The ball went up, came down, and the catcher for the Blue Jays, understandably, was hoping it might roll foul, right? Dead ball. Oh, it was dead all right. It's stuck in the ground, essentially. Now, he tried to grab it, fumbled it a little bit, and by the time all of that was done, Sal Frelick is over there on first base, an error attributed to the Blue Jays, and that, of course, was part of the rally for the Brewers to take the lead and end up winning the game. Abner Uribe, who ended up closing the game for the Brewers last night. And like I said, Gabe, thankfully, they stopped the bleeding because they were in the midst of a 6-game losing streak, and they have all of these injuries. We talked yesterday about Christian Yelich now being the latest of them. You're hoping that you get guys back. But, man, I just took a big sigh of relief last night when they were able to get the victory, and I imagine the guys felt similarly.
But how crazy is that? You have a roof, and the weather ends up affecting your game somehow, because that's how much rain we've got in Milwaukee over the last how many ever days, hours. And last night it was coming down incredibly hard, which is why you saw different areas. I mean, it was raining so much. I saw videos from fans on the ballpark on social media where water was like coming up from the drainage. Like some of the drainage areas that they have on some of the walkways, water was like pooling there and kind of coming out of there. And then you've got it coming down from the roof. Fans trying to leave the ballpark last night was a risky proposition because of all the flooding. And because of all that rain, it ended up helping Sal Frelick getting to second base. Contreras comes through with the single. I mean, they scored 2 runs. 1 ball left the infield. That was it. 1 ball left the infield to score the 2-run rally last night to win the ball game, and a big part of it thanks to the rain that came down and ended up soaking the area right in front of home plate.
Yeah, it's again, I had tweeted the other night, just when you think the Brewers are out of magic, now they ended up losing that night, so they did run out of magic. But this is a little, I was saying when I was talking to the guys on 620, Boston has the monster, and the Brewers have a leaky roof, right? If you want to talk about home field advantage, I had no idea that this was a thing. I didn't know that it could work in their favor. It sounds like Sal Frelick was aware that there were some spots, but I don't think he thought that it was something that would come into play.
No.
In a much-needed win.
Yeah, it's just incredible that that's the way it played out. But again, over the course of 162, every once in a while you need that break in order to stop the bleeding. And now suddenly you've got a chance to win the series this afternoon against the Blue Jays, and then you feel good about hitting the road. You lost 4 in a row on the homestand, 6 in a row total, but you win 1 today, and suddenly you're starting to feel a lot better about yourself going forward.
As we continue talking about the Milwaukee Brewers getting a victory last night against the Blue Jays, you mentioned that there were a number of people who were stranded outside of the ballpark. I saw at least one rescue video that was circulating this morning on social media. Josh, you saw a rescue video?
That was outside my house.
Really?
Yes.
Well, the one that I saw was at AmFam, but I have no doubt that there were also, rescues.
We had a boat to get somebody out of how deep the water was.
Wait, somebody just went to the shed and got their fishing boat?
I believe it was Milwaukee's rescue force.
Oh.
But the water was that high. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was bad. There's cars abandoned on my street everywhere. The sewer cover was just blown off and down the street.
Yikes.
Yeah, it was intense.
What?
I mean, I saw when I was driving to grab the girls yesterday after school that the river has jumped the bank. That's the phrase, right? Jump the bank?
Not sure.
No? What is it when the river, is it crests? When the river...
Water can crest.
I use Crest in the morning on my toothbrush, but beyond that, no, I didn't know if there was an actual term for when the water exceeds the banks of the river, which is what it has done.
I don't know it.
In Mequon and Thiensville. They shut the Riverwalk down because they were like, hey, you don't want to go out there. It has been a lot of rain, and apparently we're getting more, so just brace yourself. Maybe not today, but I heard Friday night into Saturday morning.
Friday night into Saturday morning. I mean, I still don't think we're done today. I think we still have a little bit more rain coming this way this morning. I mean, I don't think it's going to be hours long the way that it was last night, but I still think that we've got some coming in today. So it's going to be interesting trying to navigate all the different areas. And as Josh said, where he lives, close to the valley, yeah, that was the problem spot last year when we had the 100-year flood. when that came through.
Yeah,
So-
this feels biblical. Certainly does. Regarding your Milwaukee Brewers, and we just talked about how they were able to snap the 6-game losing streak, what type of mental break does this provide, Gabe? Again, even if you're sitting there going, you're grinding it out against the Blue Jays starter last night, and you walk away with the victory, you know, what type of mental benefit, what type of reset can that provide for a team? It's early in the season. We know the guys are prepared for the long season that is a grind. But can this actually be, will we look back in a few months and be laughing about the game where the roof contributed to the win and ultimately got them out of the slump?
Yeah, I think so. Because I agree with Bryce Terang and what he had said the other day about, this team's going to be good in the long run. But no matter when, and again, it had been a long time since this franchise had lost 6 games in a row. So whenever you're going through a funk like that, whether it's early season, middle of the season, late in the season, you want to get out of it as soon as possible. So, winning last night and just finding a way to grind out a victory and do it in such a Brewers-y way by scoring 2 runs with getting 1 ball out of the infield in the 8th inning to win 2-1. Yeah, it allows you to take a deep breath going into the game today. Like, okay, now that's past us. We don't have to worry about that. Now we can just try to win the series. And you can get back to business as usual. Because it's like anything else. The longer that losing streak goes on, the more it grinds on you, the more it wears on you. And again, just lifting that off. Okay, we won a game. Now we can get back out there, business as usual.
So we mentioned that Abner Uribe induced the line out to seal the Brewers' victory celebrations as he did his celebration on the mound. The guys all gathered around him. And then I wondered, is this what we're going to see in save situations going forward, at least for the foreseeable future? We discussed a little bit yesterday the issue that Trevor McGill has had the last 2 times he's been out there on the hill. We talked about the booing. We talked about Pat Murphy's reaction to the booing. Do you think that Uribe is going to be the guy for the next few save opportunities?
I mean, if there's a save opportunity today, it won't be him. He's pitched 2 days in a row. So typically you're not going to throw a guy out there for the 3rd day in a row, especially this early in the season. You're not that desperate. So if they need a save situation today, if they find themselves in that, possible outcome where they need someone to close down the 9th, I don't think it's Abner. I don't know who it would be. I mean, maybe they do turn back to Trevor and try to give him that opportunity. But clearly something's going on with Trevor's fastball. I think it's 44 fastballs in a row without a swing and a miss. With a guy with an electric fastball like that, you just don't see that. So I don't know if there's something they can get him in the pitching lab and try to figure out if he's tipping pitches or what the deal is with that fastball. But I honestly don't know who they would turn to today if they need a save situation. If they need someone to go out there and they're up by 3 or less and they need to get those final 3 outs, it's not going to be Abner because he has pitched the last 2 days and then he also pitched the day before the off day. So he's pitched 3 of the last 4.
Could you use a guy like Ashby, who ended up getting the win last night? He pitched 1 inning, 3 strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 hit in his outing.
I can't imagine that he would be the one.
Maybe they should try and get him to lead the NL in wins, which he currently does, and saves. Just use him every single day.
Hey, I love Aaron Ashby, all right?
Uh-huh.
I want to get that out there.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah, yep.
Aaron Ashby in the 9th inning, no thank you.
I mean,
do you have a pick? Do you have a, if they find themselves in that situation, you have somebody that you think that would
My
be
guess is
serviceable?
Grant Anderson. My guess is if it's today, it's Grant. My guess is that's the way they would go.
Play the matchups.
Yeah, or maybe it's just that simple.
Right.
If it's a lefty heavy part, then you're bringing in Serpa. If it's righty, then you stick with somebody like Grant Anderson, or
Well, that's why they ran Patrick off yesterday, right? Wasn't it a matchup thing? That's why they put Hall in there?
Yeah, he does it, and they don't like Chad going through the lineup too deep the 3rd time through, which is why his pitch count was at a fantastic
Incredible.
spot. 81 pitches through 6 2/3, but his numbers, especially a 3rd time through a lineup, get a little dicey. So, yeah, that's why. Yeah, and so DL, he could be somebody in a lefty-on-lefty situation, right? So I don't think it's any one guy, and they very well could start the inning with one guy.
Yeah.
He allows somebody to get on, and now you're going, oh, now we want a righty versus righty, and you bring in somebody else. Like, that is certainly possible. I think today is a mix and match day, and you figure out the weekend when the weekend gets here. But the other thing is, unless they're going to say that there's an injury with Trevor McGill, Like, you're going to have to use him at some point. You can't just carry a reliever you're not going to use. That's just there's too many innings to cover, especially in today's baseball where, again, Chad Patrick was the first Brewer starter to get it out in the 7th inning this year in the game last night. So it's not like the starters are going out there covering 7-8 innings and then the bullpen doesn't have that much work to do. So Trevor still could very well be on the... I mean, he could be on the menu for today.
And, of course, if you're coming off of the 2 outings that he is, the pressure's just amplified. Because now people are wondering, like we are here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, is there something wrong with Trevor McGill? Is he tipping his pitches? Does he have an injury that has not yet been revealed? So he goes out there today in a save situation. You want to talk about the pressure that's already on the closer. Up higher. All eyes, if you will.
Best case scenario, the Brewers are up 8-1 and he comes in the 7th inning. But seriously,
just manifesting it.
Yeah, just to get some work in, just to try to see if there's a feel.
But in a low-pressure situation.
In a low-pressure situation. But, again, that they got to make a decision on what's happening there soon because you can't just be going with 12 pitchers and only 7 out of the bullpen that you're going to use.
800-990-3776. Did you hear that the leaky roof contributed to the Brewers' win last night, snapping the 6-game losing streak in a 2-1 win over the Blue Jays, a chance to win the series today out there at AmFam Field? Let us know, 800-990-3776, if you think this is the reset that the team needed, the win last night over the Blue Jays, the reset that this Brewers team, which is still dealing with a lot of injuries, needed to continue feeling good about who they are, what they are. We got to take a break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. A lot of stuff to get to today. We are now 1 week away from the NFL draft. We'll talk to Jason Wilde this morning, and we'll bounce around the Bucs a little bit. Even though the season is over, guys are still talking. We'll see what they're saying after this on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Commercial payments at Fifth Third Bank are experienced and reliable, but they're also constantly innovating. It might seem contradictory, but Fifth Third does just that. They handle over $17 trillion in payments. It's a lot of money. Smoothly and effectively every year. But they were also named one of America's most innovative companies by Fortune magazine. After all, that's what commercial payments are all about. Steady, reliable expertise that keeps money flowing in and out like clockwork. But commercial payments are also about building new and disruptive solutions. So Fifth Third does that too. That's your commercial payments of Fifth Third Better. Fifth Third Bank, National Association. Member FDIC.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today. More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
We got an accident on northbound 4394, just north of Holt Avenue, off on the left shoulder. Should be getting ready to pull away, though. A little bit of a delay right past that scene. We also have the off-ramp from northbound 43 to Kilbourne closed because of flooding. And then we've also got westbound 94 at 35th Street with the left lane blocked with a crash there. So that means we got backups from before 35th, but then they'll stretch all the way to Hawley Road. On the eastbound side, backing up from Hawley to 35th. Northbound 41 is also heavy from Mayfair Road all the way to Burleigh. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast, today scattered morning showers with a high of 62 at the lake, 68 inland. Tonight mostly cloudy, a low of 46. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back on April 28th.
Turio sends it deep to left, and there she goes!
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness. Third deck.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Tune in April 28th at 6:40 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check your local listings to watch the game.
People hear Horicon Bank and they think local instantaneously.
Over the years, was able to help them in their later years when they needed some care. So I would say that was cradle-to-grave experience for me.
We encounter precious moments like this all the time. We have a trust administration department that can help.
Our motto is together as a bank and as an organization, and then doing good.
There's amazing success stories of small business entrepreneurs who now are multi-million-dollar companies.
Horicon Bank, together doing good for 130 years. Member FDIC.
Some companies build projects. At Professional Construction, Inc., we build relationships.
That means showing up early, taking pride in the details, and having each other's backs, on and off the job site.
We're looking for skilled carpenters who really care about their craft and want to be part of a team.
Not just another paycheck, but a place where the people you work with actually matter.
If you work hard, take pride in what you build, and want to join a tight-knit crew, then we'd love to meet you.
Apply today at professionalconstructioninc.com.
Spring has arrived in the Geneva Lakes region, and there is no better place to welcome the season than the award-winning Lake Lawn Resort. Enjoy lakeside dining at 1878 on the lake, golf for all ages and abilities at Majestic Oaks, relaxing spa experiences at the award-winning Calidora Spa, and endless recreation opportunities along the resort's 2 miles of shoreline on beautiful Delavan Lake. Plan your spring getaway today at lakelawnresort.com and come find out for yourself why everything is better at the lake.
It's Rich Eisen for Pella Windows and Doors. Sometimes teams take a timeout to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Pella Windows and Doors always has the winning game plan. They do it every day, and that's why your neighbors trust them. Visit Pella.com/Eisen today. Right now, Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin is offering no interest until the year 2030. Some restrictions may apply. See store for details. Offer ends April 30th, 2026.
In today's fast-moving job market, staying ahead means keeping your skills sharp. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we help keep your capabilities cutting edge with our skills-based education programs designed to move your career forward. Explore more than 135 degrees and certificates in business, cybersecurity, and more. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 13th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
Ready, down, put. All Packers, all the time.
He was a field-tilting player, and the reason why Gabe and many others are so concerned is that this guy's on the field, he changes the offensive dynamic. They are a different offense when he is there.
Okay, most of the time.
You know, Homer calls Matt LaFleur soft all the time. Matt LaFleur is like Vince Lombardi compared to me.
It's Jason Wilde on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Jason Wilde on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy is brought to you by Exterior Pros. Ready to tackle your home improvement project? Exterior Pros and Baths is giving $3,000 off roofing, siding, windows, or bath remodels this month. Visit extpros.com.
1 week away from the NFL draft feels like a great time to check in with our friend and teammate Jason Wilde. Good morning, Jason. How you doing today?
Well, you always check in with me on Thursday, no matter it's the NFL draft or not. It's just great to be with you.
So what are you hearing out of 1265? It feels like this Dexter Lawrence thing continues to gain traction, but again, not sure if that's a direction the Packers would go. Would you be surprised if they pulled the trigger and were able to pull off a trade for Dexter Lawrence?
I would be. And the question I keep asking myself is, who are you and what have you done with Brian Gutekunst? If that trade happens, right, it'll be really interesting because it's going to mean giving up some sort of draft picks again. Another player who, he's not 30 yet, but he's going to turn 29 on November 12th. And Goody has told us on the record for all eyes to see that the players that he wants now are aged 26 to 29. That is your prime. That's when you stay the healthiest, he says. That's when you play your best. So if that's true, you'd be getting Dexter Lawrence at the end of that window. Again, I understand that the Giants have a track record of letting really good football players out of their building. Saquon Barkley, who then goes and has 2,000 yards the following season. Xavier McKinney, who was a back-to-back All-Pro after leaving there. So maybe Joe Shane and John Harbaugh, who obviously is the new coach, are going to allow that to happen. Dexter Lawrence sounds like he's disgruntled. Feel like Packers had plenty of those guys for a while, apparently. So the fact that they might give up assets to get another one and then pay him so he's not disgruntled, I never say never, because I would have never thought that they would trade 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark and pay a king's ransom to Micah Parsons, but this has not made sense to me from the very beginning.
Obviously, they have interest, I think. I mean, Shefty had said as much on our show yesterday. If they were to make a move like that, Jason, how much would that shake up what they're doing on the interior? Obviously, Javon Hargrave is kind of a year-to-year type situation for him. And they've got, Devontae Wyatt, who they presumably like. But if you give a big extension, if you make a trade and give big extension to someone else, I can't imagine that they would be looking to extend Devontae Wyatt.
Yeah, and I saw one clip from Shefty talking to you guys. Did he say what he thinks the price is from a trade asset perspective?
2 and a 5.
And do we think that would be this year? You would think that the Giants would want that this year, right?
I would think so. But he did say, because I asked about like a timeline, and he said, obviously that would be ideal, but that doesn't mean that they, don't decide, hey, we're going to try to work something out and then end up trading him before training camp or before the start of the regular season, the way it kind of played out last year with Micah.
Okay, so a 2 and a 5 this year. You got an extra 5th-round pick in the Wicks trade.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really want to go into? And again, I'm not questioning whether or not they would be interested in having him on their team. My question is whether or not they are willing to pay the price it would require, much like with Micah Parsons, of draft capital plus money, right? You want to go into this draft then without a first and a second, and have your first pick be the 3rd-round pick you have?
But if you draft someone, would they have the impact of Dexter Lawrence?
I don't know where Dexter Lawrence is at this point in his career. I haven't watched his games. Is he a field tilting player still? Again, I don't know what.
I think you'd have to project that. It was not a great year for Dexter in New York last year.
Yeah. And it was not a great year for a lot of people in New York, in fairness to him, right? So, the issue that I have with this is, again, I'm doing the position-by-position series, and they don't have an obvious top flight like Malik Willis turned out to be, backup quarterback. They don't have a clear-cut number 2 running back.
Mm-hmm.
They traded away one wide receiver, had another one walk in free agency. And while I'm not saying that that's a need per se, I also wouldn't be surprised if they drafted one at some point
I think
on day 2 or more likely day 3. Right?
I think they almost have to, Jason, just based on I don't know what the future of Christian Watson and or Jaden Reed looks like, since they have, just this year left on their respective deals.
Yep. At least they have Bo Melton still. Tight end.
Do they? Is Bo under contract? Right?
Yeah. I think he stayed on on the exclusive rights free agent thing, which isn't really free agency. They need depth at tight end, even though they're going to re-sign or extend Tucker Kraft, obviously, right? And their offensive line, I don't know how excited you are about their starting 5, but I know you're really not excited about their next 5, right? And I haven't even gotten to the defensive side of the football yet. And what I'm seeing is they could take the best player available at every position because they have a need at basically every position except safety. And so, again, you have 8 draft picks now. You surrender 2 of those to get Dexter Lawrence, who is going to be 29 years old. And back to my original point, I was saying this to Homer last night. So now you've added Zaire Franklin, who's going to be 30. You have Hargrave, who is 33, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've given all this $43 million now to Aaron Banks, which, again, maybe Aaron Banks has a great season, but, I always think back to the line about Jimmy Graham that the only bigger mistake than signing Jimmy Graham in free agency was keeping him for a second year. I don't know if Aaron Banks is just a guy. He seems to be, but we'll see. But he's 29 years old at the start of the season. And it just makes me wonder why exactly Goody has abandoned something that he was so adamant about. And maybe he just wants to prove me wrong and show there's no line of demarcation at age 30.
Or he realized that he was wrong, Jason, that he needs to have a little bit of mix.
No.
And when it comes to, we're talking with Jason Willie, he's on the England guest hotline. When I think of Dexter Lawrence, I also think he fills a need because if they're going, and I know it's only, I think last year I think teams played base 30% of the time, which is up from about 25%. But still, if you're playing 30% of your time in your base and the Packers are going to be a 3-4 base, they don't have a wide body like that. They don't have a 340-pounder that they can throw on the nose.
I mean, would it be Stackhouse now?
He ain't 340.
But wouldn't that be their option right now at nose?
I mean, Stackhouse isn't starting on that line. It's Hargrave, it's Carl Brooks, and it's Devontae Wyatt if they're in their 3-4.
Yeah, to Jen's point, the biggest guy they have is Nazir Stackhouse. Whether or not that's effective, that's certainly debatable. And debatable as being kind.
So that's what I think about of Hargrave. Okay, so he fills that need, and additionally, the thing I guess I keep coming back to is when we talk about teams that generate pressure with 4. And I think of those Giants teams that won the Super Bowl. I've unfortunately beat the Packers both times en route to those Super Bowls in the playoffs. Or when I think about the first time, not the last Eagles team that won a Super Bowl, but the one that went and they had such a ferocious front 4. Nobody knew who their corners were because that front 4 was so good. And that's what the Packers front 4 could be with Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah, that all sounds great, Gabe.
You're not buying my pitch? Not buying my sales pitch there?
I mean, I enjoy some of your sales pitches. I certainly don't enjoy the one about the lack of value that they see in Jaden Reed. But look, again, the guy has a history of being a good football player. Wasn't super productive last year. I agree with you that that's a need. I just rattled off all the needs on the offensive side. Let's do the defensive side. They need a true nose if they're going to play in a 3-4. They also need edge help, right? No matter how you think, Baron Sorrell, based on his whatever he played, 200 and some snaps of defense, or Colin Oliver because the guys nicknamed him Baby Micah, and then he said he didn't want to be that. I mean, you're counting on those two guys to elevate, right? Because you traded away Rashawn Gary, and I still don't understand for a 1-year, $10 million contract why Kingsley Enagbare was not someone that they saw as worth bringing back. But again, because he made some pretty important plays down the stretch of last season. And to your point about looking ahead, they're not giving LVN the 5th-year option. No. I can't imagine. And so now we're talking about needs on the interior of the defensive line and on the edge. Linebacker, you've signed Zaire Franklin, you have Edgerrin Cooper, you have Isaiah McDuffie, but the inside linebackers are less valuable in a 3-4 base. Corner,
are they just out on Tyron?
I don't know why you signed Zaire Franklin if you believe in having young players rise up for opportunities when, I don't think he played great when he had to play.
Sure.
But, right?
But that was few and far between.
Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't say they're out on him, but certainly if you think, this guy's ready to be a starter, you don't need it. No matter how much you've liked Zaire Franklin from afar, right? Goody said at the NFL meetings that he'd liked him and tried to get him in the draft. I don't think they're super deep there. And then corner's a problem. And we're not even accounting for the fact that it's possible that Keyshawn Nixon, in his mind, is underpaid as a number 1 corner and isn't going to come to the offseason program. I don't know that for a fact, but it's certainly possible. And if that's the case, do I think they're going to spend? I saw Mel Kiper's mock draft. He went 2 rounds, which is good because the Packers wouldn't have had a projected pick otherwise, but they've got him taking a corner. So again, I just, when you are where they are with their draft capital, they do have the money. They have marshaled enough resources that if they want to make the trade for Lawrence, and if they want to put some of the money up front early, like in the form of his salary, so they're not kicking the financial can down the road further to when Micah Parsons' deal becomes more cap problematic and the quarterback's deal becomes more cap problematic, great. But again, a second and a fifth, maybe if it's a second and a fifth for 2027, but again, you give up a second, I'm sorry, I got to think that they would try to get that price tag down if they were going to do this, because the idea of going into a draft without a first and a second, I just can't believe that Goody, whether he's draft and develop or draft and replace, wants to do that.
Jason Wolde joining us on the Yingling hotline here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. All right, Jason, I'm going to put you on the spot. What's more important for this Packers team? Addressing the defensive line, which, again, I think I saw Dane Brugler. Gabe, were you telling me that he has the Danny Dennis Sutton out of Penn State going to the Packers in his mock draft, or the secondary?
Well, I am fine with, it's kind of like the offensive line, although I think I like the secondary better than I like the offensive line. If they're top five, if they're going to be a nickel team 80% of the time or whatever, if Carrington Valentine and Keyshawn Nixon are your corners, Xavier McKinney and Evan Williams are your safeties, and your nickel guy is Javon Bullard, who I think is going to be their breakout guy this year on defense. I'm okay with that. I feel good about that. I'm better than okay with that. Do I think that they need more corner help? Absolutely. And do I think they need to have people that are going to compete for the opportunity to be the number one corner and to push the veteran guy who's there and to push Carrington Valentine to be better than he's been, especially as a tackler? Yes, I do. But I do think I think they're pretty good there. In fact, I don't know tell me where you think they are better than even if you include the question marks about corner, where on the field do you think they're better in terms of just pure personnel?
Between those two, between the defensive line and the secondary?
No, just generally, like anywhere else. Like a safety, they don't have any position that's as deep as they are at safety.
Sure.
Right?
Correct.
So, and everywhere else, I mean, everywhere else, I think is a need to varying degrees.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And for a team, and that's the problem, right? Is because, and Goody said it at the NFL meetings, again, how even he wondered what might have been if not for losing Kraft and Parsons and Zach Tom, frankly, as well. Like, for a team that should have been looking at last season going, hey, I know we lost really good players to injuries, but if we'd have been deeper, maybe we would have done a better job of surviving that. To be as thin as they are at as many places as they are with as few as picks as they have, I'm sorry, I just think that that's something to be nervous about.
Yeah, I mean, it's just they're in such an interesting position to me, Jason, because realistically, that second round pick is only going to be a starter. And it would only be potentially, right? We don't know if they're going to come in and compete or whatever, but would be the corner opposite of Keyshawn. Like that is, I would say Carrington Valentine is that guy right now. That spot is vulnerable. And then the other position we're talking about, if they want, and who knows if they even do, if they want a true nose and have that big wide body. Otherwise, all the starting positions are filled. It's just about having depth for this year and potential future starters for years to come when some of these guys leave in free agency.
Who's their other opening day starter at outside linebacker besides LVN when Micah Parsons isn't ready to go? Like, they've had several edge guys in for 30 visits. It makes me think that maybe they're looking there too.
Oh, yeah.
And thinking, maybe that there's a guy that can come in and start right away. And who knows? I mean, again, we've seen rookies come in and you're just like, holy smokes, this guy's the real deal. Like Evan Williams as a 4th round pick? Like, he looked like a starter from day one of training camp, right? So maybe it's possible that there's an edge guy who's played in a 3-4 or fits what Gannon wants to do, better than Barron Sorrell or
Brenton Cox Jr.
Colin Oliver does. Yeah. And by the way, I'm glad you brought him up because there's another guy who, and I know he was hurt last year, but there's another guy that I think has a chance to really be somebody in this defense.
Well, that's Jason. He's the answer.
We're guessing.
He's the answer to your question earlier. The reason why they didn't bring back Kingsley Enagbare is because Brenton Cox Jr. is cheaper.
Yeah, he is cheaper, and
from a production standpoint, from a production standpoint, I know Cox was injured last year. If you take a look at 2 years ago, he had better production than what Enagbare had from a sack perspective this past year.
Yep, that's true. Yeah.
So I think they look at that of, okay, $10 million or bring back Brenton Cox Jr. on a much cheaper deal, and I think they decided to save the money.
We got to save the money so we can spend it on Dexter Lawrence.
Exactly. Now you're coming around, Jason. That's what I like to hear.
I just want to be part of the Gabe Neitzel think tank. Get rid of Jaden Reed too.
Jason, we appreciate you playing ball with us this morning here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
All right, guys, I'll talk to you tomorrow. I think that'll be good.
He's Jason Wilde. You can hear him on Wilde and Tausch right after our show each and every weekday morning here on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee. All right, I think we should get into that. Because, Gabe, it feels like you feel pretty confident about this being a good option for the Packers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right, we'll talk about it right after this on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
All right, northbound 43 still has that Kilbourne Tunnel closed, the off-ramp there, so just be careful with that. We've got an accident on the ramp from 175 southbound to 94 westbound. I'd like to note that ramp is currently closed for construction as well, so not quite sure why there would be a crash there, but there you go. We got backups coming in from just south of Vliet all the way down to the stadium interchange. Westbound 94 backing up from 27th Street past Hawley, eastbound slowing from 76th Street all the way past 35th. Traffic is brought to you by Geist Garage Doors. For over 70 years, Geist Garage Doors has been the local trusted name for garage door sales, service, and repair. Visit GeistDoors.com and don't think twice, call Geist. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast, today scattered morning showers with a high of 62 at the lake, 68 inland. Tonight mostly cloudy, a low of 46. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Got your tax refund? Before it mysteriously disappears, invested in something you'll actually see every day, your home. At Exterior Pros and Baths, turn that refund into energy-efficient windows, durable roofing, new siding, or a beautiful bath remodel. And they'll take it even further with $3,000 off your project. That's $3,000 in instant savings during the April savings event. But don't wait, this offer won't last long. Call 262-800-4274 or visit extpros.com today. Exterior Pros and Baths, big savings done right.
An epic Brewers Pirates series is coming April 24th through the 26th. Kick it off with Star Wars Night on Friday the 24th. And check out a post-game laser show presented by ESPN Milwaukee. Then on Saturday the 25th, get a Brewers Windbreaker giveaway courtesy of Courts. Wrap up the series with Family Sunday fun and kids cheer free. Plus, the first 5,000 kids take home an Abner Uribe poster. Grab a seat at Brewers.com.
Let's talk about home turf. Your lawn is a reflection of your pride, hard work, and even competitive spirit. If you want a yard that makes the neighbors stop and stare, you need the right plan. That's where Weedman Lawn Care comes in. Weedman's lawn care program is kid and pet friendly, uses golf course quality fertilizer, and has an effective weed treatment to dominate any issue. Get a free quote of Weedman's winning formula for your yard at weedman.com and get 50% off your first treatment. That's weedman.com. Weedman for the win.
Look, it's Jake from our store in Kenosha.
Hi, Monica. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Rick.
Your email said you had a big surprise.
Look and tell me what you see.
Wow, I see 9 perfect examples of the classic diamond solitaire engagement ring. They're gorgeous.
These rings are exactly what people imagine when they hear the words engagement ring.
Monica, do you think it will always be like that? Ever more.
That long?
And each of these is 3/4 of a carat.
$998.
Unbelievable. So how much do we sell them for?
That is how much we sell them for.
Can we do that?
We're the largest employee-owned jewelry company in America, Rick. We can do anything we want.
But for how long?
Evermore.
People can choose any of the 9 most popular style solitaires, 3/4 of a carat, and each of them was created in the heart of a miniature star.
5 different diamond shapes, 2 colors of gold. Evermore, just $998. Or $1498 with a 1-carat diamond center. center with diamonds on the side.
Learn more at KesslersDiamonds.com.
Beautiful day for Brewers baseball. Brats in one hand, your Brewers checking card from Associated Bank is in the other. And with a tap, it's 20% off gear at the Brewers team store. An express entry so you can tailgate longer. And up to 50% off home game tickets. All that power, all for the crew. Only with Brewers checking from Associated Bank. Join the crew at AssociatedBank.com/Brewers. Member FDIC.
It's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
A freaking catapult attached to his right hip. Like, I just made that up. A catapult.
That was good.
I kind of liked it. I was rolling with it, Rob.
Like a slingshot? What's the name of that?
I'm calling him old catapult leg from here on out.
On 94.5 ESPN.
When we talked to Jason Wilde, when we talked to Adam Schefter yesterday, we talked to Jason Wilde just a few moments ago. You can find that on ESPN Wisconsin's app. When we talked to Adam Schefter, he said it might only cost a second and a fifth to land Dexter Lawrence. He also made it seem like there's a number of teams who are involved or who are interested in Dexter Lawrence, and why not? A multiple-time Pro Bowler who is disgruntled with the Giants. The Giants have shown that they will make bad decisions, even as they try to turn over their front office, even as they try to turn over who's calling the shots there in New York. So I imagine, as one of our loyal listeners mentioned on the YouTube stream, that this conversation about Dexter Lawrence is taking place in a number of markets this morning. What would it take for us to get Dexter Lawrence? But Gabe, you seem pretty adamant that if it is only a second and a fifth, the Packers should absolutely make this happen.
Yeah, I think that's... You freed up that money, and I think you freed up that money for a reason. It just makes so much sense to me of having a really good line. And if you add Dexter Lawrence to that front, yeah, a lot of the pressure you probably have between what Dexter can bring to the table, again, assuming he can get back to his 2024 levels, which I think I don't think is a big, huge leap of faith, right? Yeah, he had a down year last year, I think, but the Giants were also kind of a dumpster fire last year. So I think you can, with the right motivation, get him some money, get him motivated, get him out there. Between him and Hargrave, the way that he's excited to play under Gannon again with what Demonte Wyatt does, is that a lot of that pressure coming up the middle until, you can get Micah Parsons back, sure. But I think it just gives you so many great defensive line options, and it gives you depth all around there. If you have a line that you can get pressure with on a high level, on a consistent basis, that makes Keyshawn Nixon better. That makes Benjamin St. Juste better. That makes Carrington Valentine better. It makes everybody else around you better. And whatever they do with that second round pick, it's going to be a wild card. And we're going to sit here the following week, and we can be excited about it. I'm going to be honest. Yeah, I'm going to talk myself into Packers draft picks. That's the way it works. But I know Dexter Lawrence is a really high-quality football player. He's proven it in the NFL. And I just don't think that whoever you draft in the second round is ultimately going to have that type of impact. Now, I understand Jason's concern about the lack of depth around this roster, but this also does give you a little bit more depth, I think, along the defensive line. And there are other things you need to address with all the other draft picks that you have. But I think it's a swing worth taking and just kind of pushing all the chips in the middle over the next 2 seasons and going all in.
I'm not saying that the league is the same now as it was 20-some years ago, but you did reference those Giants teams that bullied the Packers, those defensive lines. Michael Strahan, O.C. Umenyiora, Justin Tuck. And the question you had was, who the hell were the guys in the secondary? Who were their defensive backs? So I pulled up Football Reference just to see who they were, because I thought it was a good exercise in, if you have a dominant front like they obviously had, a number of Hall of Famers there on that defensive line, you can get away with Aaron Ross, Sam Madison, James Butler, and I don't even know how to say this guy's name. Is it Gabriel Wilson? The free safety from that season?
Gabriel Wilson?
Yeah. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, none of those are household names. And to your point, then that actually the Keyshawn Nixons and the Carrington Valentines and whoever they decide to throw out there at safety for the Green Bay Packers feels like an upgrade on those guys who were a championship level roster 20 years ago.
Look, I mean, football has changed, yes, but I don't think it's changed to the point where you have a dominant front four. That's a through line in history. Take a look at, again, just more recently, and I know when the Eagles won their Super Bowl, they did it with a couple of guys we recognized because they were taken high in the draft, and we thought the Packers might take Cooper DeJean, and he ended up having an interception in that Super Bowl. But, I mean, they had a dominant front four. That's why the teams that have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl, they had dominant fronts. And they gave Patrick Mahomes fits. And that dominant front four, again, go back to Chewy's teams in 1996. Yes, they had a future Hall of Famer in Leroy Butler, but they had an aging Eugene Robinson as the other safety. And I mean, Craig Newsome and Doug Evans weren't all pros. They weren't lights out. They were serviceable cornerbacks. And they looked better than they probably were, because you had Reggie White and Sean Jones and Santana Dotson and Gilbert Brown getting after the quarterback on a regular basis. So if you've got that dominant front, it just can make up for a lot on that back end. And that, to Jason's point, the safety position is locked down. The Packers, I'll put their safeties up against anybody else in the league, and I'm going to feel really good about winning that matchup. They are so deep and good at that position where you just need serviceable play out of those corners if you have a dominant front four.
And I do think that as you talk about the window, and you have to push every team that believes they are championship caliber through that window, how much time do we have? This feels like the window is wide open. You are in what is, I think you have to consider Jordan Love's prime, right? Last year was the best year he has put on paper, his best year of his resume. If you continue to believe that offensively you have weapons around him, now again, we can have the conversation about the offensive line. I think you have to have a conversation about, is this the championship window for Green Bay? And would a Dexter Lawrence type move lock it in? Right, because I said last year, if you had a healthy Micah Parsons, if you had a healthy Zach Tom, if you had a healthy Tucker Kraft, this team should have been in the NFC Championship game. And I think if you bolster that defensive line, you feel a lot better about their chances being there at the end in the NFC.
Yeah, because again, I still would feel good about this defensive line. I mean, not as good, obviously, because Micah is the second best pass rusher in the NFL behind Myles Garrett. But like Micah, when he comes back, just kind of solidifies everything else. If you get Dexter Lawrence, I think you're going to feel good about that defensive line until he gets back. Like right now, it's, okay, what are you going to do here? What are you going to do there? He's a difference maker in that middle, and he's going to be able to eat up bodies in that middle. And then I just imagine what a 340-pound Dexter Lawrence plus Micah Parsons on the same defensive line can do at the same time.
Josh weighing in on the YouTube stream, he says, teams can outbid us pretty easily with draft picks. Is that a concern of yours? And again, Adam Schefter throwing out the idea of a second and a fifth, but to Josh's point, because we are so draft pick light this season, could somebody sweeten the deal with a seventh? Could somebody that Goody would not be willing to give up given the number of draft picks he has this year?
And maybe. Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility. If somebody wants to give up a first-round pick for him, then yeah, the Packers are cooked.
Somebody could have given more for Micah Parsons, a lot more, and probably gotten away with it. They chose not to. Deals don't always work that way, where you just start tacking on random things to sweeten it slightly. Like, you have a deal, you make a deal, you find a team that's willing to sign a contract and an extension, and that's sort of how the stuff goes down.
Well, there's a big part of that right now, Josh, is how many teams right now have the space and would want to pull the levers to create the space to add somebody like this late in the game? Because a lot of the money for free agency has been scooped up by the guys that were out there.
Right.
So that limits the bidders.
And you're going to have to cut it down. Teams that aren't contending or don't view themselves as in a Super Bowl window aren't going to be making the move for a soon-to-be 29-year-old defensive tackle who's coming off a down season. Like, there's an inherent risk there that I don't know if every team's going to be involved in. And, like, I think people view trades as how you do it in your fantasy football league, where you get an offer for one guy and then you use it against the other and then you just make them bid each other up until you get the best possible deal. And like, a lot of times that doesn't happen. You certainly try and get the most out of everything, but you're not pitting other people directly against them.
I mean, you got to think again, it's Jerry, and thank God Jerry exists. But I mean, he kind of locked in on the Packers and went, oh, this is what I want as part of the return with the picks. I need to have a defensive tackle that I really like. So that eliminated some teams, even though they hypothetically could have given them a better offer with draft picks and probably a better player than Kenny Clark. That's something that Jerry wanted in return. This is non-negotiable. We needed somebody like Kenny Clark. And again, I think Goody went, no, not Kenny Clark. What are we going to do? You sure, Jerry? I don't want to give him up. All right, I guess I will. Darn it. You really negotiated me out of a player I wanted, Jerry. That's a shame.
Great job with that dramatic reenactment.
Let's also be clear here. Joe Shane is a bozo. Doesn't know what he's doing. Flat out, not good at his job. Somehow still has one.
Well, but that's where John Harbaugh is competent.
Right.
Yeah, but he is. But to my understanding, I believe we asked Schefter about it. He's still the one calling the shots.
Yeah.
There's input, obviously, but
again, from all the most recent reports, what was the report that we saw that this isn't an impasse? It's much worse than that. Like, they have broken off communication. Now, has that happened before in negotiations? Sure. Sometimes it's a posturing thing, but it does feel like Dexter Lawrence is not long for the Giants world. Let's put it on the Jen, Gabe, and Chewy Infinity Exteriors poll this morning. Is Dexter Lawrence the missing piece for a Packers Super Bowl push? Is Dexter Lawrence the missing piece for a Packers Super Bowl push? 800-990-3776. For 70 years, Geis has been the trusted garage authority in Wisconsin. Don't let a busted garage door get you down. Call my friends at Geis today. With brands like CHI and LiftMaster, they have doors for every budget and swift and reliable garage repair solutions. Don't think twice. Call Geis. GeisDoors.com. That's GEISDoors.com. GEISDoors.com.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN. With Wilde and Tausch, you won't miss a play.
Yeah, coaching matters a lot, and we've fallen short. Those are the facts. Matt LaFleur's on the clock, man. And I know he got an extension, but I'll say this. If they revert and don't get better, you're evaluated on your results.
Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Everybody knows, it's championship or bust. That is what Green Bay is. And unfortunately, we've had 15 years of bust.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN, ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Take it home this April at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. $300,000 is on the line, and you're at bat to win your share. Just play with your rewards card for entries, prize drawings on Thursdays. Plus, your April drawing entries all count toward another prize drawing in June.
It's the Base Race Game Show.
Only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Progressive presents ways to save money that aren't bundling your home and auto insurance with Progressive.
I can't believe the deal we got on these seats for the game.
Wow, they must be pretty high up here. I think my ears just popped.
Yeah, here, put this on.
Is that an oxygen mask?
An official team oxygen mask.
Well, I can kind of see the field.
Good, your senses are still sharp. You're going to need them for phase 2 of the ascent.
Don't save money by sitting in the nosebleeds. You could save hundreds by switching to Progressive. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
In sports, the tape never tells the whole story. Hiring is no different. AI can make candidates look like an MVP on paper, so knowing the person and the skills behind the resume matters. That's where Robert Half changes the game. Our recruiters combine their expertise with award-winning AI to evaluate skills and fit quickly. Learn how we can find you specialized talent in finance, accounting, technology, and more. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
Evan Cohen here. Game day brings the excitement. Your stay should feel just as memorable. With Marriott Bonvoy, official hotel partner of the NCAA and U.S. Soccer, you're connected to a portfolio of brands designed for how you travel. Some offer complimentary breakfast, others give you room to spread out, space to stay productive, or extended stay comforts. So whether you're a traveling fan or part of the team, Marriott Bonvoy celebrates the moments that live on before and after the game. Marriott Bonvoy, where game day checks in. Evan Cohen here. Did you know the average employer sorts through about 250 resumes for one job opening? That's a lot of time reviewing applications. Well, if you're hiring, here's good news. You can now review resumes and applications faster thanks to ZipRecruiter. With ZipRecruiter's new feature, qualified candidates who are very interested in your job show up at the top of your list. No wonder ZipRecruiter is the #1 rated hiring site based on G2. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/USL. That's ZipRecruiter.com/USL.
Empower
Ellie here is getting the sleeve she's always dreamed of. She worked with Empower and planned for her next move, so she got good at money. Now she can be a little bad. Oh, by the way, you spelled journey wrong. No worries. She can afford the cover-up, too. Ooh, check out my tat. It says, invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Are you going to answer the question?
What's the question?
Can the Packers win without Aaron Jones on Sunday?
Yes. Will you stop? You know what he is? He's like the little devil on the shoulder.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Guys, the place to go if you're ready to propose, of course, it's the Jewelry Center. Best place to go in Milwaukee for a reason. It's what I did a handful of years ago when I knew it was time for me. Now, I kind of had an idea of what I wanted that ring to look like, but I still went in, I browsed, I went through the process with the helpful team at the Jewelry Center, and they want to make sure that dream ring becomes reality. So if you don't know, go to her Pinterest page, see if there's anything there, bring that in, and the helpful team at the Jewelry Center always going to point you in the right direction. Whether it's Greenfield, Brookfield, Burlington, or Mequon, that helpful team is going to make sure that it's fantastic. Everything's done in-house. It costs less than what I was expecting. And whether you're looking for that custom engagement ring or you just want to pick something up nice, like diamond earrings or gold chain, got an anniversary or anything like that, a birthday, they've got you covered. So again, check out the Jewelry Center, Greenfield, Brookfield, Burlington, and in Mequon.
Is Dexter Lawrence the missing piece for a Super Bowl push for your Green Bay Packers? We put it on the Infinity Exteriors poll. It is also available on the YouTube stream. Right now, it's about 50-50. It's jumping. 58% of people right now say no. 42% of people say yes. Reaction rolling in on the Carbless Talk and Text line as well. Ryan from Aguanago says the Packers' missing piece, once again, is a consistent game-changing receiver. Can't Christian Watson or Tucker Kraft as a pass catcher be a game-changing receiver?
Absolutely.
I guess I see that in their repertoire, Gabe.
Again, the big thing for Christian is staying healthy. So I think that's where the consistent part comes in for Christian. I think he really took a big step forward, even though he only played, just a little bit more than half the season last year. And Tucker Kraft was well on his way. Like Matt LaFleur, finally, somebody had hit him over the head enough of, hey, Tucker Kraft's a really special guy. We need to feed him the football in order to make him be the difference maker that he can be. He can only be a difference maker if you actually give him the football. And the targets had been going up exponentially for him until he had the unfortunate injury with the ACL. So they've got plenty of options there, I think, on the offensive side to make the team more explosive.
Soren in the 262 says, no, the Packers have what we need. We just got to get healthy. Column A, column B, right? I do believe that we all think that health is a major priority and that we do think that it was the difference between a long playoff run last year and being bounced the way that they were. But I also think that if you can upgrade at that position, there's value there. What do you think, Joshy?
I've never seen a team that was really good go, you know what, we're good enough. Let's not try and improve. Even though we had, how many people leave in free agency or via trade? You got to add something. There has to be some change. I thought the Packers were very good and at times looked like a Super Bowl contender. But you know what helps teams like that? Getting even better.
DJ in the Saw weighing in saying, I'm out on another older, overpaid lineman playing base 3-4. We don't need we don't need a dominant defensive line. And he says the studs were in the linebacker core back in the 2010 defense.
BJ Raji would like a word.
Yes.
Howard Green had a pretty big play in the Super Bowl.
Clay Matthews
was not the interior linebacker.
They also list Pickett and Jenkins.
Cullen Jenkins was fantastic.
Gabe, can we do a quick little exercise here before we go to break again?
Please.
Do you know the last few teams who have won Super Bowls?
Mm-hmm.
Go and look at all their defensive lines.
Okay.
Were their defensive lines not extremely good every single one of those years?
Yeah, I think they were.
Yeah, Seahawks for sure. Philadelphia Eagles
We've talked about the Eagles, Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know if they were dominant as a whole, but Chris Jones pretty damn good.
He sure was. They had guys on the edge, too, in those teams.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Maybe the best we've seen in a while.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Despop.
The point is, that's like what everyone does. It's defensive and offensive line.
Yeah.
That's how you win Super Bowls. It's the thing. It always has been.
Yep. And again, you need to have some difference makers other than that, right? Like, again, going back to the Packers examples, Clay Matthews was really good. Aaron Rodgers, like you need those other pieces. But it's really hard to win a Super Bowl without having a dominant defensive and offensive.
Did we memory hole what happened against the Ravens?
I think so.
I mean,
because
that was embarrassing.
Well, yes, but not as embarrassing as losing to the Bears twice. So that one comes to the front of 100%. Mind before getting pantsed by the Ravens.
I mean, goodness me.
Because that's what happened. They got pantsed by the Ravens.
I mean, Josh, it sounds like you're all in on this as well. And again, you guys, what I hope people recognize
He's more all in than I am.
I know.
Do you hear the way his voice lights up when he just says the words?
But I want to be clear, you guys aren't just these fanatical, irrational. Now that sometimes applies to you, Joshy. Yeah. But you look at both sides of it. You're not just saying go out and get this expensive tool to help us win a Super Bowl. You're recognizing that. To Gabe's point, Dexter Lawrence is likely going to be better than anything you get with that second-round pick, which is a gamble, right? Even if you think it's the most surefire guy in the draft in the second round, it's still just potential. It's still just a project. It's still just a guy that you hope will be able to contribute. Whereas Dexter Lawrence has a track record of success in the league, so that's how you're squaring that. Beyond that, I think people are concerned about the cap issue. But we talked last week about how they have so many buttons and levers that they can press in order to free up cap space.
I think we, as a show, need to start leading the way. And we need to show proper respect for Russ Ball.
Yeah.
I think as a show, we need to become Russ Ball stans and just because Russ... And I know there were the rumors out there that when they were looking for a GM, initially Mark Murphy wanted to make Russ the GM, and there were a couple of important people that pushed back on it, and eventually they hired Goody. Russ wouldn't have been a good general manager, more than likely, because, again, there's the whole evaluation of talent. But when it comes to managing a cap, I want nobody else. This dude has shown over the years that nobody can manipulate and get yourself in cap healthy spots the way that Russ Ball can. So we often think about him as that third pillar of the three, but I think we need to show proper respect for Russ Ball, and he's going to be able to figure out a way. Yes, it may be a little scary because you're going to be up against some of the cap and you might wring your hands. Russ is going to figure it out. Russ is going to make sure that they're in a good spot. And, oh, by the way, they do have a lot of money that's going to be available next offseason.
Is Dexter Lawrence the missing piece for a Packers Super Bowl push? Weigh in on that poll on the YouTube stream and on our Carbless Talk and text line. We'll be right back after this.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today. More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Trouble on the roads, wetness, obviously. We've got standing water northbound on 43, the Kilbourne off-ramp tunnel there. So that's going to be in effect. That ramp is closed at the moment. More delays beyond Fond du Lac Avenue all the way up towards Sutter Street. Southbound backing up from Silver Spring all the way down to Locust. Westbound 94, we've got backups from 27th Street to Hawley Road, back on the brakes just west of Highway 100. And that is just a long, slow crawl all the way past Calhoun. Eastbound's backed up from Highway 16 to Highway F, back on the brakes from 76th Street to about 35th. Buying a home? Apply for a stress-free mortgage from Great Midwest Bank and experience your state of tranquility. Visit greatmidwestbank.com. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, scattered morning showers with a high of 62 at the lake, 68 inland. Tonight, mostly cloudy, a low of 46. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement. and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
We have standards in Wisconsin. Cheese should squeak. Sports and tailgating go hand in hand with brats aplenty. And beef is a delicacy where each bite makes you close your eyes for a second. For 50 years, Bunzel's has been hand-selecting the finest beef, making homemade specialty sausages, and crafting award-winning jerky right here at home. Because Wisconsin is still cattle country, quality isn't optional. It's expected. And after 5 decades, Bunzel's still delivers. Stop in today at 90th and Burleigh or at bunzels.com.
Tune in to KBN every day at 2 o'clock. Kyle Brust and Nortman. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamara. Here's Jen Latta.
If you listen to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy each and every morning here on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, then you undoubtedly hang around for Wilde and Tausch, which is right after us every weekday morning. Yesterday, Wilde and Tausch had the Don, Barry Alvarez, on the show, and Barry Alvarez was reacting to, well, kind of a big story for the University of Wisconsin, for our Badgers, as Chris McIntosh, it sounds like, abruptly resigned from his position as athletic director to take a position with the Big Ten. Now, we have talked significantly enough about the challenges that the Badgers have been facing, about how it seems like the haves versus the have-nots continue to separate. And the Badgers, unfortunately, recently have been a member of the have-nots. But I want you to listen to Barry Alvarez yesterday, who tells the world how he found out that his protege, the guy he handpicked for the gig, was leaving the University of Wisconsin. Take a listen.
No, I found out probably when the rest of the public found out. Mac called me later that day, after it had been announced, but I was surprised, like everyone else. Why wouldn't you be surprised? I mean, who would anticipate that move? And my thoughts, we just move forward. That's all. You'll have it's a great job. It's a wonderful job. It's a job that a number of highly qualified people would want. And I'm sure the candidate list will be plentiful. And, go out there and find the best guy.
Gabe, this rubs me the wrong way. I understand that when there is a highly coveted gig and you have to be judicious about who you tell and who's aware, because you don't want to inflate the pool of candidates. But from everything I've read, this job with the Big Ten didn't even exist. Mm-hmm. It's a newly created position for Chris McIntosh. So I'm not sure that he was having to beat off other candidates with a stick, had to maintain some level of secrecy to make sure that other people didn't throw their name in the hat. How do you not let Barry Alvarez know, the guy who ushered you into this role, who gave you a shot, a former player? I don't think there were a lot of people who were saying, you know who would be a great athletic director at the University of Wisconsin? Chris McIntosh. But Barry Alvarez did. And he basically laid the groundwork for him to take over that very coveted, as Barry said, role. How do you not let him know before the public is aware that you're walking out of town?
It's pretty simple to me. I think that relationship deteriorated. I don't think it's what it was when Barry left and Barry handed over. And I don't know, because Barry, on his show on ESPN Madison, had been critical at times of the University of Wisconsin Athletic Department. And I don't know if criticism is something that Chris McIntosh dealt with well. And if his mentor, the guy who got him the job, had some criticisms, And maybe Barry just aired them out and didn't talk to him privately. I think that relationship isn't as strong as it was when Barry initially left. And that's how I think something like that happens. Because it's not on the university, because the university probably didn't even know that Mac was leaving too. So if you're not letting somebody like that know, to me, there was a deterioration in the relationship. Yeah, after it came out, I guess Mac gave him a call or whatever. But it's pretty obvious that it wasn't what it was, when he took over 5 years ago when Barry retired.
Josh, did you have a similar reaction when you heard that Barry Alvarez was not aware and only became aware of Chris McIntosh's departure, like the rest of us, via social media or via reports?
I did, and it made me start to question Chris McIntosh even more and their relationship and sort of just how this position came about. And much like there was a life vest being used yesterday for the Floods, feels like that's what happened.
Lifeboat.
Yeah, it feels like that was offered to him by one of his buddies in the Big Ten, where they created this new position. I don't find it surprising because, as Gabe said, Barry has at times been a great defender, even as things weren't going well, like go boo in a bar when people were being critical of the team. But he also, in the same breath, will be like, yeah, this football program doesn't have an identity anymore. And it seems like Mac took personally a lot of the things people who were once in the program or around the program have said about it, which to me is as thin-skinned as it gets. The results are all there. It's not like we're nitpicking a highly successful, consistently in the mix in the Big Ten program right now.
No, I mean,
that's not what's happening.
I mean, when Barry talks about it, the first year that the bowl streak ended, like Barry was pretty, I don't want to say heartbroken by it, but that was a part of his legacy, right? He's the one who started that, carried it on as the athletic director. And when it came, when that ended, he was pretty vocal about his disappointment. And Mac has to wear that. He wears a little bit of that. And like Josh said, I just don't think McIntosh dealt with criticism, especially from people like that very well. And the relationship probably just fell apart.
So let's take a few things here. Let's take the underperformance as the leader of the athletic department. Let's take the assertion that he was thin-skinned and struggled with the criticism, which we can all agree was warranted. And let's take then this final, which I think is another nail in the coffin, of not letting the guy who gave you the opportunity, who gave you the job, letting him know ahead of time. All of those feel like indictments of Chris McIntosh. But if we take it a step further then, Barry Alvarez was sort of blinded to those things, right? Because Barry Alvarez thought this was the guy who could make a difference, who could elevate the Badgers program, who could be the guy to usher them into this new. And I know NIL and the timeline was messed up, and nobody. Again, I don't begrudge, or I don't want to be the person like Chris McIntosh who takes over a role like that, and then all of a sudden, with the snap of a finger, everything changes, and you're dealing with NIL and all of the challenges that brought. I get that, but I wonder how much Barry is sitting here going, man, I really picked the wrong dude, huh? Man, I really messed up with the selection of Chris McIntosh as athletic director of the Badgers.
When it comes to the thin skin stuff, there's no way to know that until he's in that position, right? As the deputy AD, as the guy, like any sort of criticism that's going to be lobbed at the athletic department, he's protected by Barry. Because Barry's the one who then absorbs the brunt of that criticism, right? Like it's just like with Mac now, or I guess used to be, since he's no longer there. Any criticisms of the athletic department went to Chris McIntosh. They didn't go to the deputy ADs, right? And while everybody shares responsibility, when you're heading the department, that's where it comes from. And you don't know how somebody like that is going to react because, well, A, I'm sure Barry wasn't anticipating the football program to take the downward spiral that it did. And B, okay, so now here's some legit criticisms and concerns about the program. He doesn't know how Mac's going to handle that because there's just no way to know how you're going to handle that situation until you're actually in it.
Well, it's like live reps versus practice reps, right? When you sit there and go, well, the guy does so well at practice, right? But it's not the same as when you get out there in a game and you actually have the spotlight on you and you have to make the play. You have to set the edge or whatever your responsibility is. But there is a part of me that wonders if Barry Alvarez, as he sits here and reflects on this thing, goes, man, I got it wrong. And I'm not saying he has to say it on Wilde and Tausch. I'm not saying he has to tell the world that. But I wonder if in the quiet moments he goes, how could I have been so wrong about a guy that I thought was primed for this gig?
Yeah, I mean, well, this isn't the first time that happened to Barry. You know, I mean, when Bielema left, he was blindsided by that. When Brett decided to go to Arkansas and chase the money there. And I'm not even saying I blame Mac for taking this this lifeboat, right? Because things are changing at the university. Like one of his biggest backers in the chancellor is leaving at the end of the year. Like there's going to be somebody else coming in, and they might take a look at the failures of the football program and the athletic department as a whole in a completely different light. And so he decided to take the lifeboat. But again, this is, Barry had he got it. I mean, he got it right with Brett until he got it wrong. Made the wrong decision with Anderson before he then brought in Chris, who righted the ship awfully quickly after Chris, became the head coach at the Pro. So, Barry's made a couple of wrong decisions, and it's not the first time this has happened.
800-990-3776 as we reflect on Barry Alvarez talking on Wilde and Tausch yesterday about Chris McIntosh's departure, abrupt departure. Barry revealing he only found out about it when the rest of the public found out about it with the reports. Ben weighing in on the YouTube stream, he says, I really appreciate Barry Alvarez, but is his influence too strong and the athletic director felt like just a puppet? I don't know the inner workings. I don't know the dynamic. I would assume that Barry was hands off to let Chris sort of lay his own road, right? Like make his own path. Certainly was probably available for advising, sort of that mentor role if he ever got into a jam. I don't know how often that was utilized. I, again, don't know the dynamics of the relationship. And again, as I mentioned, I would hate to take a job. Well, I actually did do this at one point. I would hate to take a job where all of a sudden the parameters change, right? You go in thinking one thing, and then all of a sudden they go, oh, actually, we changed our mind. We're going to need you to do this. And you go, well, that's not my skill set. Or I'm ill prepared for that new responsibility. That would suck for anybody. And I don't want to overinflate that, but I do want to recognize that when it comes to Chris McIntosh at Wisconsin.
But at the same time, it's not like he didn't know that date was coming. July 1st, 2021 was circled everywhere. Hey, NIL is going to be available starting on this date. Like that, it's not like they said on June 15th. Hey, you got 2 weeks. 2 weeks till NIL's here. You had some time to try to prepare yourself.
I do think it's important to note that there's hundreds of obviously college football programs that now are dealing with the NIL, and when you think of programs that had success prior to it and then have fallen off since it, the Badgers are one you circle in the top 5. Wisconsin's football program is one you look at immediately and go, these guys got it wrong. And I think that's important to note because some teams have done well. Some teams have excelled, obviously the Indianas. But in terms of going backwards, how many more are you looking at?
That's a great point. It is really, really hard to find programs that were a perennial top 25 team, which Wisconsin was year in and year out. They may not have been in the playoff. They may not have been top 10. But when you look at that top 25 ranking, they were in it annually.
Yes.
And then just disappeared.
Largely non-competitive.
Right.
Largely non-competitive in football.
When you think of the teams in the Big Ten, and I know I've said this before, so forgive my redundance, are the Badgers more like Indiana or more like Rutgers? It's an easy answer.
Right.
At this juncture, they are more like Rutgers, which is sort of like you're in the Big Ten.
I do want to say the football program.
Correct. You're right, yes.
There's been so much success.
Very fair distinction, yes.
Because a lot of those others, like Greg Gard, except for the lack of success in the tournament, has done incredible with getting some of those transfers in, getting some of those guys to stick around to give them money. It's just the level of tournament performance isn't where we'd like.
And is it just one year where he missed the tournament? Like
Correct.
1 year where it was a swing and a miss?
Yes.
And they're overperforming.
Yes.
Like the last 2 years, and again, I understand the tournament success, like you said, Josh, hasn't been there. But they weren't expected to be a top 25 team.
No, I mean, John Tange and Nick Boyd became absolute stars in Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
And they were rentals. And that was no. I mean, he changed his entire approach on offense.
Had to.
Yeah, right. And adapted extremely well and is doing very well except for those, let's not lose the tournament like that all the time. But other than that, I mean, they beat Michigan this year and then took them to the final couple minutes.
Well, and again, what I was going to say is I think it's important that we make the distinction from a performance standpoint, but from a financial standpoint, football still rules the roost, right?
100%.
When we saw that thing with Governor Evers last week, when we were talking about the $14.5 million that is now coming from taxpayer money, There was a list of revenue that was dropped for the Wisconsin Badgers, and it went team by team. And as successful as some of these other teams have been, the women's hockey program, the men's hockey program, football still generated $41.5 million in the 2024-2025 fiscal year, right? It was a drop in the bucket for every other sport. Basketball, for comparison, guys, $12 million. Okay, so that's why it's so important to circle and highlight and focus your light on the football team, because they are still bankrolling all of these other Olympic sports. They are still bankrolling all of these other programs. 800-990-3776. Were you surprised to learn that Barry Alvarez only found out about Chris McIntosh leaving via the public, via reports? Because again, maybe I'm old school, and you guys know, I value those relationships. I believe in those relationships. If somebody gave you a shot in that situation, I feel like you owe it to them to let them know before it's all over social media. And I can't help but wonder if that was a misstep by Chris McIntosh on his way out the door, on his way to the Big Ten. Because he's still going to be associated with the Badgers. That's the thing. The Big Ten is the Badgers. The Badgers are the Big Ten. I just wonder about, to your point, Gabe, the relationship and the dynamic and where it is now.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Because I think of like the mentor in my life. But yeah, if I've got, even if I'm contemplating, like if an offer comes my way, that person's going to be one of my first phone calls, right? Like, hey, what do you think about this? And kind of talk through with him. Obviously that wasn't, and again, everybody treats every situation differently, but my guess is that the relationship just isn't what it was 5 years ago when Barry left.
The Run for the Roses is coming to St. Kate, the Arts Hotel. Join St. Kate on Saturday, May 2nd for the Kentucky Derby Day in partnership with Woodford Reserve. Watch the race live, sip on specialty cocktails, including the classic mint julep, and dress to impress. They've got contests on the card for best hat and best dressed. Admission is free, or you can upgrade for $75 to a VIP experience, which includes exclusive food stations and 2 complimentary cocktails. Visit stkatearts.com. That's stkatearts.com to RSVP or grab your tickets. stkatearts.com.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
We have a crash westbound 94 right about at Sunny Slope Road. It is off on the right shoulder. Delays coming out from Highway 100 to that point. And then it stays kind of heavy all the way past Calhoun. We got eastbound 94 backing up right past 76th Street all the way through the Stadium interchange. 43 southbound backing up from just south of Silver Spring all the way down to about Locust. Northbound 4394, well, technically northbound 94 slows down from the airport spur through the Mitchell all the way up to Oklahoma Avenue. Back on the brakes from Lincoln to the base of the high-rise bridge. Westbound 894 is going to be backed up out of the Mitchell interchange all the way to about 76th. Eastbound out of the Hale interchange all the way past Loomis. And check the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, scattered morning showers, a high of 62 at the lake, 68 inland tonight, mostly cloudy, a low of 46. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Truth Nation, it's that time again for the Tory Low Community Cleanup. Mark your calendars for Saturday, April 18th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. as we come together to clean up the city of Milwaukee. Be part of making a difference in our community. The Tory Low Community Cleanup, Saturday, April 18th, 8 to noon. Sponsored by Milwaukee College Prep, Steinhoffels, Cousin Subs, Waste Management, and presented by the Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewerage District, your clean water partner, serving Greater Milwaukee for 100 years.
James Imaging Systems, a 100% Wisconsin-owned and managed business technology company. James' client, Amy Simonson, IT administrator with Professional Services Group.
We have several locations throughout southeastern Wisconsin. Having them all under one company has been very helpful.
Big or small, one location or several, James Imaging Systems is your one-stop business technology resource.
And they are on top of everything. When we have a problem, it's answered right away.
James Imaging Systems, Systems, IT-driven workflow automation, security enhancements, digital transformation, and unrivaled local service and support.
And they're always looking for what else can we do? What else do you need? So they want our company to succeed as well as their own.
Let James Imaging Systems help your business succeed. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank. And while buying a home is a big deal, it certainly doesn't have to be and shouldn't be a stressful experience. At Great Midwest Bank, we combine competitive rates, fast pre-approvals, and honest advice from knowledgeable loan officers to help you every step of the way through your home buying or building journey. For 90 years, our customers have been part of the GMB family. Experience a state of tranquility at GreatMidwestBank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
It's Mike with Infinity Exteriors. I've seen it all, Wisconsin. Sketchy sales gimmicks for low-quality windows, siding that costs more than a new home, fly-by-night roofers. 60,000 happy customers made a better choice. Infinity Exteriors roofing, siding, and windows all come with our lifetime workmanship warranty, no overcharges, and transparent pricing. At Infinity Exteriors, we're on a mission to save our communities from unscrupulous contractors. Visit infinityexteriors.com.
The Run for the Roses is coming to St. Kate the Arts Hotel. Join us Saturday, May 2nd for the Kentucky Derby Day in partnership with Woodford Reserve. Watch the race live, sip on specialty cocktails including the classic mint julep, and dress to impress. Best hat and best dress contests are on the card. Admission is free, or you can upgrade to VIP for $75 for exclusive food stations and 2 complimentary cocktails. Visit stkatearts.com to RSVP or grab your tickets at stkatearts.com.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
There's a lot of sodas now that are prebiotic sodas.
They
as
don't
well.
work. They're called poop.
No,
they're really called poop, I think. You buy them on Amazon.
I thought you were going to stop talking.
You got a lot of rust in you. You know that?
On 94.5 ESPN.
If you're chasing big jackpots and nonstop excitement, Potawatomi Casino Hotel is your place to play. Fast payouts, so you're right back in the action before you know it, and never miss out on a jackpot because you can keep track of the jackpot amounts with digital billboards all around the city and screens all over the casinos. You know my favorite part of the Potawatomi Casino Hotel is, of course, the sports book, but a close second are the 2,600 slot machines, including exclusives straight off the Vegas Strip. Play your way with denominations from 1 cent, that's me, I'm a 1 cent gal, all the way up to $100. Whether you enjoy classic reels or the latest interactive games, there is always something new to discover at Potawatomi Casino Hotel.
The top 8 at 8.
Name something that follows the word pork. You pine. Huh?
One category.
Name something people take with them to the beach. Turkey.
The top 8 answers.
The first thing you buy in a supermarket. Turkey.
The top 8 at 8.
A food often stuffed. Turkey.
The top 8 at 8 on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Name Popeye's favorite food.
Chicken!
Show me chicken!
The top 8 at 8 on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I would say my nervous level is somewhere in the 8 to 9 range on this top 8 at 8 this morning on a scale of 1 to 10. Joshy, how are you feeling?
I always feel good about these.
God, thank goodness.
Yeah, well, I'm going to limit how many answers Josh can give you.
Why?
Here. Yeah, because you could probably run this list.
Okay.
So
makes me feel good.
So Josh, you only get 3 lifelines with Josh today, Jen. So I'm going to limit Josh to 3 answers.
3 of 8?
Yes. So I have a list of 8 things in front of me. Once, again, Josh uses up his 3, you get 1 incorrect. We will throw it out to the fans at 800-990-3776. Last person to get the last one on the list gets that ESPN Milwaukee prize pack. Draft is next week. I'm looking for the last 8 Packers second-round picks.
Jeez Louise, second-round picks?
Well, that's what they have this year. They don't have a first-round pick, so it's a second-round pick.
I hate it. I hate it, Joshy. Because last year, obviously, we know who their first-round pick was.
I mean, again, Josh could probably just rattle off 3 in a row if you want him to, but I'm guessing you would want, again, just let Joshy know when you want him there as a lifeline.
Joshy, can you give me 3? Hold on. Don't do recent ones, okay? Because I think I might be able to pull the recent ones. But can you go back in time? Like, can you go back a few years at least?
Yeah, just...
Hold on. Don't do... Don't do the recent ones. I think I can figure out the recent ones. That's why I'm saying my lifeline. You know what? Stop.
Everybody,
I need to rethink.
All right, you just need to take a deep breath over there. You're panicking.
I need to rethink.
And you're just vomiting whatever comes into your head.
I need to rethink my strategy. Stop, okay? I told you that my panic level was at an 8. Now it just went up to a 9.6. Okay, hold on. Okay. Christian Watson, it was a second-round draft pick. He's got to be on this list.
Christian Watson's number 6 on the list. He was drafted in 2022.
Okay.
What if I give hints but don't say the name?
I don't know. That might be worse. I'd rather you just give the name.
Because you could also probably give enough hints where you run the list. There's a reason why I'm limiting you.
One of these picks, I can give the pick taken directly after him by another team. Yeah.
You may have brought up this person once or twice in the history of this show.
Again, I can do recent because my brain, it's deep dig. But the good news is Christian Watson was 6. So it actually doesn't go much further than Christian Watson. That's good news. Okay. Last year, Edgerrin Cooper. Was it last year or the year before? It was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, Edgerrin Cooper was a second-round pick. Yes.
He is number 2 on the list.
Okay, number 2.
Obviously drafted in 2024.
So who was the 2025 second-round pick?
You can get. I believe in you. He was taken before the better player at his position.
What did I tell you? I told you no hints. You're a lifeline for 3 answers over there, all right?
Obviously, we all know that Matthew Golden was the first-round pick. So now I just got to think of who they went with the second-round pick on Friday.
We're just going to keep adding
details.
I'm hoping that it will
spark something.
Exactly.
Yes.
It'll click. Like, who did they draft for the second-round pick? Hold on. Okay. I can't believe that Edgerrin Cooper, Christian Watson, is Josh Myers on this list?
He is.
Josh Myers is number 7 on this list.
Okay.
That is the one that Josh routinely brings up Creed Humphreys on.
Yes, always. Offensive line. What about... I'm struggling between Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave for some reason.
You're on the right path.
Luke Musgrave, second-round pick.
In 2023, he's number 4.
Now I need Joshy's lifeline for sure. I don't know who it was last year. Give me the position. Josh, this will be a lifeline.
All right, drafted as a tackle. He plays guard.
That's Belton.
Anthony Belton was the second-round pick last year.
I just want you guys to know that I am sweating
I'm gonna throw the one
profusely over
that
here.
I don't know if you'll get. I think it's the 8th on the list, and that's A.J. Dillon.
A.J. Dillon is number 8.
Oh, good, Joshy. That helped. I never would have remembered that A.J. Dillon was a second round pick.
What do we got left?
So we've got 3 and 5 left. Joshy's been used twice.
Give me the list again.
Anthony Belton.
Number 1.
And number 2, Edgerrin Cooper. 4, Luke Musgrave. 6, Christian Watson. 7, Josh Myers. 8, A.J. Dillon.
I'm spacing on...
It's got to be another second-round pick in 2024, right? 2025, 2024, 2024, 2023.
That's where I'm getting...
All right.
Okay.
He's got to be.
Now he knows who it is.
Second-round pick. Oh, God. Come on, Jen. 2024, right? I'm on the right year?
Yep.
Is it Bullard?
Ooh.
Is it?
Javon Bullard, number 3 on the list.
Okay, all right. You know what? I feel like I've done enough. I feel like that's the end. The fact that my brain went into Frank the Tank mode and got Javon Bullard, I think should be enough.
What just happened?
For everybody.
So you want to open it up? 800-990-3776?
Hold on. How many do we have left? Do we have one left? Oh, should I let Joshy do it, or should we open it up to callers? You pick.
Let's open up to callers.
Yeah. Let's give something away
800-990-3776. We have one left on the second round picks. The last 8 for Green Bay. Joshy, who's our first caller?
John in Milwaukee.
John in Milwaukee, you're on with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Can you complete our top 8 at 8 list?
What was the list again?
So it is the last 8 second-round picks by the Packers. Anthony Belton is 1, Edgerrin Cooper 2, Javon Bullard 3, Luke Musgrave 4, 5 is the one you need to name, Christian Watson 6, Josh Myers 7, A.J. Dillon is number 8.
Ooh.
Need an answer. 3, 2, 1. And we move on.
800-990-3776. Looking for one more answer in our top 8 at 8 list. The last 8 second-round picks by your Green Bay Packers. Joshy, who do we got?
Jared from Omro.
Jared, you're on with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Can you complete our top 8 at 8 list?
I missed some of them. Can you reset it, please?
So Anthony Belton is 1, Edgerrin Cooper is 2, Javon Bullard 3, Luke Musgrave 4. You need to name number 5. Watson 6, Myers 7, Dillon 8.
Oh
man, how soon people forget. I thought this was a play. Need an answer.
Yeah, I can't think of it off my head.
800-990-3776. Let's go out to Jeff in Greenfield. Jeff, you're up next on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Can you complete our top 8 at 8 list?
How about Reed?
Jaden Reed in 2023. Because the Packers had 2 second-round picks in both 2024 and 2023. Jaden Reed is number 5 on the list.
Well, if the nerves were at a 9.6, now the embarrassment is at a 9.6. Jaden Reed, Jen, goodness gracious.
I actually had in my head made him a third-round pick because that's where everyone valued him, and the Packers jumped up. And everyone was kind of like, oh, that's a little bit early for this guy.
What you get for doing too much draft research, Josh.
That is.
Thinking about where they were evaluated versus where they were picked.
Tone James weighing in on the YouTube stream. He says, A.J. Dillon may have been picked in the second round, but my word, he was no second rounder.
He had one really good game against the Titans. And I was in that boat where I thought, oh, hey, we got something here. And then it fell apart. And it fell apart quickly.
We started to write the cold weather bruiser. He's going to be perfect for the playoffs and late in the season. And then he couldn't get more than 2 yards to carry.
He couldn't do anything but trip over the line and fall forward.
Man, that was tough.
That was a good list in so much as it made me very sweaty.
And not because it's warm in the studio today.
No, but the thing is that, again, you forget where these guys were taken if their production doesn't match where they were taken. And I guess I could argue that for a number of guys, I mean, Luke Musgrave, well, has he matched a second round production?
I would say the only 2 on this list that have,
Watson?
and I know is the only 2 that have not, I would say, would be Dillon and Musgrave. And I know Joshy, wishes that Creed Humphrey was the Packers center, but Josh Myers started for a long time, right? He started, so I think he matches.
And he's still in the league, I believe, isn't he?
He got an extension with the Jets. He signed the 1-year deal and then signed an extension to stay out there. So you got a starter in the second round. I think you're pretty happy with that. Belton remains to be seen. But
we're very excited about what Edgerrin Cooper can do again.
Javon Bullard, Reed, Watson, Myers. I would just say, Dillon and Musgrave are the 2 that didn't live up to second-round grades.
And we have to take a break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, but it is interesting when you push things through various prisms. So you just did the second-round picks, right? And we are always talking about what is Goody's hit rate, what is his success rate with his draft picks. If you just look at the last 8 second-round picks, he's been pretty good.
I would say 6 out of 8 hits, which is really good. 75%, think you're taking that.
Remember, our Twitter poll is brought to you by Infinity Exteriors. Refresh your home with roofing, siding, or windows, all backed by their lifetime workmanship warranty. InfinityExteriors.com. We put it on the Infinity Exteriors poll earlier. Is Dexter Lawrence the missing piece for a Super Bowl run for your Green Bay Packers? Go ahead and weigh in on that on our Infinity Exteriors Twitter poll. We'll be right back after this.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN. Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next.
Northbound 43 at the Kilbourne off-ramp, the tunnel there, that's still closed because of, they're saying repairs. I'm going to say probably because of the flooding, but there's repairs going on there. The southbound side of 43, we've got backups from Silver Spring all the way down to about Locust. We've got delays northbound 4394 right out of the Mitchell interchange up past Oklahoma Avenue, then from Lincoln to the base of the high-rise bridge. We've got southbound 41 backing up from just north of Good Hope Road down to Appleton Avenue. Northbound's backed up from Watertown Plank Road up past Burleigh. And then northbound on the Rock Freeway, I should mention this because there's construction going on, and that means we're down a lane. And so we've got big enough delays starting from about Oakdale Drive all the way up past Highway 164, so all the way up to about Guthrie Road. So just be careful with that and give yourself extra time. Rates change, needs change. Great Midwest Bank can help you explore a refinance that better fits where you are today. Visit greatmidwestbank.com. And check the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, scattered morning showers, a high of 62 at the lake, 68 inland tonight, mostly cloudy, a low of 46. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Spring has arrived in the Geneva Lakes region, and there is no better place to welcome the season than the award-winning Lake Lawn Resort. Enjoy lakeside dining at 1878 on the lake, golf for all ages and abilities at Majestic Oaks, relaxing spa experiences at the award-winning Calidora Spa, and endless recreation opportunities along the resort's 2 miles of shoreline on beautiful Delavan Lake. Plan your spring getaway today at lakelawnresort.com and come find out for yourself why everything is better at the lake.
Hey, y'all. It's the Rocket Roger Clemens here. I spent years on the mound giving everything I had, and now I feel every inning in my knees, back, and shoulders. But I didn't want surgery, and I sure didn't want to be sidelined. That's why I turned to QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics Medical Director Dr. Christie and his team use regenerative treatments that help your body heal itself. No surgery, no meds, and no downtime.
Whether you're teeing off at the club or chasing the grandkids around, QC Kinetics helps you get back to doing what you love.
Call QC Kinetics now and schedule your free consultation. Natural joint pain relief with real results.
Don't let the pain slow you down. I didn't, and neither should you. My friends at QC Kinetics, they'll take care of you.
Call QC Kinetics today and schedule your free consultation. QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics 414-240-2298. That's 414-240-2298. 414-240-2298.
Don't think twice. Call Geist.
Don't let a busted garage door get you down. Call my friends at Geist today. For 70 years, Geist has been the trusted garage door authority in Wisconsin. With brands like CHI and LiftMaster, they have doors for every budget and will even build custom designs to get your exact needs. For swift and reliable garage repair solutions, go to geistdoors.com. That's GEIS doors.com. You can also visit their amazing showroom in Brookfield, featuring hundreds of doors and openers and their custom design room.
Don't think twice. Call Geist.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. Find the Children is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted car. Call 1-800-294-0222. You'll receive the maximum tax deduction, and we provide fast, free pickup. Call 1-800-294-0222. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Call 1-800-294-0222. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I just figured if I got the yellow ones from Mexico, I could slip those in without her. Did you know the Viagra in Mexico is yellow?
Had no idea.
Yeah.
Wait, can you just paint it? You just drop it in a little food coloring?
You probably could, like an egg.
I'm gonna try that. Easter has a new meaning in the Chimera household.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Back here on John, Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. No Chewy as he heads back to Florida, so he lasted 3 days. What a tough guy.
It's
got to chop up some trees, though.
Not for everyone. I mean, maybe he did. I don't know. I haven't checked in with him.
Maybe he didn't get to chop up trees. I don't know. That would really put him in a sour mood.
He was so excited to use that chainsaw.
So excited. Every time someone asks me about doing a podcast, hey, Jen, why don't you do a podcast? I'm like, I do a radio show. I feel like that's enough. My response is always, isn't it an overly saturated market at this point? Isn't it overly saturated? And I feel like, again, no disrespect to either of these people because I think they're both great in their own regard. Did we need a Breanna Stewart, Miles Turner podcast? I'm not sure we did.
I'm glad we do, though.
Game Recognized Game apparently is the name of the podcast that Breanna Stewart and Miles Turner do. And on that podcast, Miles Turner of your Milwaukee Bucks discussed what has been oft discussed, which is the Doc Rivers Google me in the locker room conversation. Here is Miles Turner on that interaction.
Listen, man, I don't know who Sham's source was. I'll come out and say it right now. I was not the snitch. I was not the mole. I don't know who was, but a lot of stuff in that ESPN article came out, like it was very accurate. You know, I think that someone had to have like a tape recording at this point because, I mean, a lot of stuff that was said was actually, you know, to the T. Yeah, we had a really rough game in Chicago. We had like a lead in, which is a really bad point of the season for us. We were like in a very must-win mode, and we had a game against Boston the next day. Doc kind of came in and was like, listen, I heard y'all been talking shit. Let me talk my shit too. You know, I've taken teams that are, you know, less talented than this to the playoffs or whatnot. And he basically said, you know, I thought this was the team to do that. So I think it was a way of trying to fire us up. But in a room full of ego, he kind of came with the whole Google me thing. And like, I don't think it went over as well as he might have thought it would have went over.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Miles Turner basically confirms what Shams reported that Doc Rivers contradicted. Am I following those bouncing balls correctly?
Well, I mean, Doc said that it was taken out of context and then basically confirmed what happened in that meeting and what Shams had reported.
Sorry, Doc attempted to contradict the report, but ultimately confirmed the report, which Miles Turner is essentially doing as well. Now did I follow the bouncing balls correctly?
Now we got it, yeah.
Okay, so by all intents and purposes, what was reported by Shams did occur.
Yes.
Right? And Shams said that he had several, I think the number was six famously, people, sources, who told him what went on in that locker room, in that meeting. So good on you, Miles Turner, for wanting to get it out there that he was not one of them. But 6 is a pretty significant number when you consider we're not talking about an NFL locker room here, Gabe. We're talking about an NBA locker room.
Yeah.
And there aren't that many more people than 6 in an NBA locker room at any one given time.
Yeah, I mean, again, and to get to that 6, I'm assuming it wasn't 6 players. I'm guessing there could have been an assistant, a couple of other people that would have been in the locker room when that incident happened. But it doesn't make me feel great that Miles goes, yeah, it was so accurate. It's like he had a tape recorder in that meeting. But again, I think the Bucks had dysfunction in 2025-26.
Fact.
And Doc was a part of that. He is no longer a part of the organization, at least on the level where, going forward, they're trying to fix that. So Doc no longer being in charge. Hopefully they continue to weed out some of the reasons why the Bucks did not live up to expectations this year. And whether Giannis is here or not, they can begin to try to turn it around.
Okay, I guess my question to you is this, because I think one of the things that Doc Rivers said when he was trying to deny but accidentally confirmed was Shams wrote an article that was so inaccurate, I don't have time to go into ... Where's Woj? I miss Woj so much. But Miles Turner basically just said that what Shams reported is what happened.
Correct.
So how do you as a Bucks fan walk away from this not going, Doc, what are you talking about, man? How could it be so inaccurate when one player is now going on the record on his own podcast confirming what was reported? Like, I guess the way you square it is to go, well, at least he's gone. Yeah. Again, I'm just trying to come up with, like, did Doc think that this was not an inevitability? That, like, eventually someone would come out and say, no, actually, what Shams reported happened in that locker room actually did happen?
Well,
he has egg on his face right now is what I'm trying to say.
Well, Doc didn't think that this meeting was as big of a deal as the players did. And that's the bigger issue. That's the bigger issue, is that he had a huge disconnect with the players. Right? And Miles kind of confirms it there too, saying, hey, some of the things Doc was doing, obviously trying to fire us up, but it didn't land. So I think the bigger issue is the disconnect that Doc, who did not think this was going to be that big of a deal, obviously it became a big deal to a lot of those guys in the locker room.
Which, again, if you start extrapolating out, if you're that disconnected, where when you're trying to have a pump-up conversation, and this is your approach, and it lands so badly, right? And obviously we heard the way that it was interpreted by the players who were sources to Shams, then what else was he disconnected with the team on? Right? When we talk about like Gabe, they had no shot of digging out of the adversity that they either created for themselves or that was created.
Yeah, painfully obvious by the end result. Painfully obvious by the end result. Because, again, this team was talented enough not to be 11 games out of the play-in. With or without Giannis.
Why we here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy put a little coin on banking and expecting them to be in the play-in tournament. And let me ask you this. I haven't watched a ton of, but I have seen some of the play-in tournament that is going on right now. Obviously, everybody saw the game the other night between, help me out, the Heat and Hornets. Thank you. And then I know a lot of people were tuning in last night for the Clippers game as well. Do you think that the Bucks team, as currently constructed, would have had a shot against either of those teams? Because I feel like they're way out of their league. Now, again, the difference between the talent and the production.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that worried about the Western Conference, but like they were just as good as the Heat, right? In the Heat, even without Bam Adebayo, were able to push the Hornets all the way into an overtime situation. Yeah, the Bucks were more than talented enough, I think, if they could have all been on the same page and rowing the boat in the same direction, that, yeah, they could have been easily in the play-in. Again, I'm not saying that they're better than the Celtics or the Pistons or the Cavs or the Knicks, but they should have at least been in the play-in with the talent that they have on that roster.
So what's next? When we talk about what's happening with the Milwaukee Bucks, there is an order of operations here. Sort of at the end of the timeline, we all have that October 1st deadline for the Supermax. The summer is going to come. The draft is going to come. Do the Bucks need to have a head coach in place before the draft?
I don't think they necessarily do. I think it would be nice. But again, it's just a different job depending upon if Giannis is here or not. And that's what it comes back to. I mean, in terms of the order of operations, I guess the next thing that at least management needs to decide is if John Horst is sticking around. And the longer we go without that, it seems like he's going to be sticking around. And then you wait and see what happens in the draft lottery. And once you know what number you're picking in the draft, then I think you can start having conversations of, do you trade that pick? Do you keep that pick? Is Giannis going to be here? Are we going to try to entice Giannis to be here? But knowing what that pick is really the next, I think, concrete thing that's happening this offseason.
Got to take a break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. We roll on right after this.
Hey, folks, Gabe here. We all know baseball's been around for a long time, since the 1800s. But do you know what's been around even longer? Yuengling. It's the oldest brewery in America. Yeah, that's right. Yuengling started brewing in 1829. That means people were drinking a cold Yuengling before baseball even existed. A great beer that stood the test of time for 197 years. So the next time you're watching the game, reach for a Yuengling traditional lager from the oldest brewery in America. Now finally in your lineup. DJ Yuengling & Son, Pottsville, PA. Enjoy responsibly.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today. More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Amy Simonson is the IT administrator with Professional Services Group. They had business technology from a not-so-supportive vendor. Not anymore. They switched to James Imaging Systems.
They come in as a partner. They want to help you. They want to make your business successful.
Including your James Imaging Systems sales representative.
He's always there when I need him. It's always like, what can I do to help you?
James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner with great people and more value.
The value is we have the right equipment in the right place. We're getting reliable, consistent service when we need it.
Amy, your advice for other Wisconsin businesses?
I would definitely say contact James Imaging. They are very helpful and knowledgeable and will put you in the right place.
James Imaging Systems, AI-driven workflow automation, security enhancements, digital transformation. Call 262-781-7700, 262-781-7700, or visit jamesimaging.com.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At Milwaukee Weight Loss, we know the secret. Our doctor-developed, easy-to-follow weight loss program helps you lose weight fast, naturally and safely, and with no drugs or injections with risk of serious side effects, no prepackaged meals, bars, shakes, and no exercising required. Our program helps reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good with a coach for ongoing support. Our program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most other programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation.
Josh DiMaggio here for Milwaukee Weight Loss. I've been on this journey since January and have already lost 35 pounds. It's been easy, safe, and their team continued to help me reach my goals. Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. That's up to a pound per day. And for a limited time, get $200 off the spring special. Book your free consultation at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Results may vary.
Evan Cohen here. In life, as in sports, the pros make it look easy. That's why pro golfers like Jason Day, Ben Griffin, and Patton Kazire trust the pros in lawn care. True Green. They have the experience and expertise to give you a lawn worthy of the PGA Tour. And since True Green does the work for you, you get more free time, or more tee times. So stop stressing over your lawn and start loving it. Sign up now at TrueGreen.com because nobody makes it easier to get a golf course quality lawn than True Green, the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen for Pella Windows and Doors. Sometimes teams take a timeout to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Pella Windows and Doors always has the winning game plan. They're not just window and door experts. They're experts at taking care of you and your home. At Pella, they find the products that meet your needs and their experts install them. They do it every day, and that's why your neighbors trust them. Discover why Pella is a trusted choice for homeowners everywhere. Visit Pella.com/Eisen today. That's Pella.com/Eisen.
Hey, Tom, I just really can't get my kids off their phones lately. What's your secret, man?
I told you last time, go to PrecisionSportsOnline.com and buy a hoop. And while you're there, include their court line painting. You'll thank me later. PrecisionSportsOnline.com. That's PrecisionSportsOnline.com.
You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
What's a click below dumb?
You. No.
Whoa. That's fine.
Whoa.
No, that's what I was
Good
getting
one.
at.
Good pop.
Good pop.
I know.
Unnecessary.
I'm not dumb. I'm one click below dumb. We need to find out what that word is.
Don't you want to be one click above dumb?
Oh, that's right. I'm one click above.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Out of time, gotta go. Wilde and Tausch is next on ESPN Milwaukee. Have a great day, everybody.
Eastbound 94, it's going to be a tight one. We're slowing down from just east of 84th Street, solid all the way through to 35th. The westbound side,